Volume of rectangular solids. Area is a measurement of a flat surface. Volume describes how much mass a solid contains. Area is flat and has two dimensions, length and width. Volume is solid and has three dimensions, length, width, and height. Area is measured in square units, such as inches, feet, yards, etc. Volume is measured in cubic units, such as inches, feet, yards, etc. Okay, this represents area. Now, area is measured in two dimensions, length and width. And this is what the sheet of paper represents, length and width. So when you see this, think of area. This box that we have here can be used to represent volume. We know in determining the volume of something, we multiply the length times the width times the height. And in doing so, we're working with three dimensions. So we have volume. Another way to represent this would be these stacks of plats that we have. And as you can see, this one plat is 10 by 10. It's 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. So the surface area, or the area of this first plat, is 100 square centimeters. But we have 10 of these. So we're looking at 10 by 10 by 10. So the volume of this three-dimensional figure would be equal to 1,000 cubic centimeters. How did we get 1,000? Very simple. We multiplied the length times the width times the height. We can show this again. Let's look at our model that we have. What we're going to do is multiply the length times the width, because that is how we find the area of a rectangle. And we can see that the length of this figure is 5 inches, represented here, and the width is 3 inches. The formula, again, the formula to find the area of a rectangle is length times the width, L times W. Well, let's multiply. The area is equal to length times the width. Always write down the formula first, because that helps you work out the problem. So we have the area is equal to the length, which is represented as 5, times the width, which is represented as 3. And now all we need to do is multiply. The area is equal to 5 times 3 is 15 square units. And in this case, the units we're working with are inches. So, inches. The area of this figure is 15 square inches. Very simple to do. Now let's look at the next formula that we're working with. Finding the volume. The volume of a three-dimensional shape. The formula is the length times the width times the height. And again, why? Because we're working with three dimensions, the length, the width, and the height. So let's plug in the numbers that we know. And again, it's always a good idea to write down the formula when you work out a problem. So let's do that. The volume is equal to the length. We know the length in this case, again, is 5 inches. The width from the front going back, we're looking at 4 inches. And the height, how tall the figure is. We know it's 3 inches. Very simple. All we need to do now is multiply. Volume is equal to 5 times 4 is 20 times 3. We'll do this in steps. Volume is equal to 20 times 3. Well, we know that 3 times 2 is 6. Let's just add the 0, or if you already know how to do that, 60. So the volume of this box is equal to 60 cubic inches. Now we know how to do this.
A large crane is removing gypsum from this barge. If the barge is 30 feet wide, 270 feet long, and 18 feet deep, how many cubic yards of gypsum can it hold? Let's do the math. The barge is 270 feet long, 30 feet wide, 30 feet, and 18 feet deep. Volume equals length times width times height. Let's multiply the numbers. 270 times 30 times 18. That equals 145,800 cubic feet. Since these numbers are in feet, we have to put feet over here also. Now the question is, how many cubic yards does this barge hold? Now remember, cubic yard is 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet. That is 1 cubic yard. So 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27 cubic feet equals 1 cubic yard. So we have to divide that number by 27 equals 5,400 cubic yards. So this barge then contains 5,400 cubic yards of gypsum. I'd like to show you various scenes with our military aircraft. As you look at the scenes, think of the math and science used to build the various aircraft and the aircraft carrier. Remember, the men and women designing and manufacturing this equipment were once just like you learning mathematics. Enjoy these scenes.
Please pause the video now and complete the problems in your workbook. When finished, press play, and we'll continue with the next lesson.